The nation marks exactly 8 years after the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution. A new twist has emerged from Parliament in what some are describing as backdoor powers enjoyed by the Senate. Despite the Senate having offices of the leaders of majority and minority parties, the creation of the two offices is not provided for anywhere in the Constitution. Instead, Article 108 only recognizes the offices of leaders of majority and minority parties in the National Assembly. So are the current office bearers exercising illegal powers in the Senate? KTN senior political affairs reporter Duncan Haemba dug deeper into the issue and reports in our special coverage of the state of the Constitution.
President will wave it to the crowd.
These were the scintillating, phenomenal and historic images that engulfed the Kenyan nation on Friday, the 27th of August 2010, as the country's second constitution was promulgated at Uhuru Park grounds. An event that heralded a new dawn for Kenya. A nation was reborn. One of the fruits of the 2010 constitution was a bicameral parliament, including a reinstated Senate. However, 8 years down the line, and there are political murmurs that the Senate might have acquired some powers through the back door by creating the offices of leaders of majority and minority parties, which are not provided for in the Constitution. The elephant in the room is this Article 108, Section 4 of the Constitution, which says the following order of precedence shall be observed in the National Assembly. A. The Speaker of the National Assembly. B. The Leader of Majority Party. And finally, the Leader of Minority Party. That is where it stops, with no specific mention on the Senate, which begs the question, just how were the two positions created and accorded the powers and privileges, plus the pecking order they enjoy?
At that time, we had no Senate at Naivasha time, and the then National Assembly was very hostile to a Senate. So in that formulation, they omitted to recognize the offices of Leader of Majority in the Senate, Leader of Minority, and the Speaker.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, who played a technical role of backroom engagement for then President Mwai Kibaki's PNU wing, explains what informed the deliberate move by the National Assembly at the time.
Granted that about 95% of national government business in the legislature is transacted in the National Assembly. I would imagine that that perhaps informed the reason why they provided in Article 108 that there shall be a leader of majority party or coalition of parties forming the majority, and a leader of minority or coalition of parties forming the minority in the National Assembly. And they stopped at that.
As it stands, there are two powerful offices in the Senate which are not constitutionally recognized, offices that come with heavy benefits. For instance, current office holders enjoy a salary of over 600,000 per month, unlike other members of parliament who earn about 530,000 shillings. They are also entitled to a responsibility allowance of over 100,000 shillings every month. Benefits include 2 government vehicles at their disposal, additional security detail of at least 5 officers, exquisite offices, and 4 additional staff to aid in legal and research. So, can the constitutionality of these positions be challenged?
It cannot be said to be illegal. But as we advance, because we are now auditing the Constitution, these are some of the things that can be corrected.
Obviously, the Constitution, the standing orders have, they are anchored on standing order 124. They can only take place after. They come to operate after the constitutional provisions. They are inferior. They are inferior. Just like other laws are inferior to the Constitution.
There is also the question of supremacy wars between the two houses of parliament and the question of which is the upper house.
The ghost of Naivasha has come to haunt us. We had created the Senate as an upper house, which is the constitutional way all over the world, and the National Assembly as the lower house, so that legislation emanating from the National Assembly would be escalated to the Senate for passage and for proper scrutiny. But you see, like I'm saying, at that time, the National Assembly, there was no Senate. The National Assembly members, and some of them now are in the Senate, and they can see the problem they created. The National Assembly members were very hostile to a Senate, and therefore they tried to overturn it into a lower house. And this is why you can see there is a great imbalance in the functioning of the Senate and the National Assembly, and there is constant hostility.
For now, though, the status quo remains with the National Assembly clearly continuing to run the show over the Senate against the backdrop of occasional supremacy quarrels. Duncan Hemba, KTN News.